gonna do? 720 roast beef Misty Rodeo?
No, I'm gonna do a Rodeo 5 on the second one.
Okay. Double Buick grab?
I think you need 4 arms for that.
Well.
Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from skiessentials.com.
I'm Bob, how's it going?
I am up here just logging one more morning on these Ranger 102 Celeste color.
It's gotta be Celeste.
Gotta be Celeste, yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't choose Celeste. One of the last things that I wanted to do was give them another run through the park.
Yeah.
So, did that. My heart's still kind of racing, but it was fun and definitely worth it. And we're gonna keep skiing, but we'll meet you back in the studio this afternoon, talk more about these skis. Last night I did ask people to leave questions in social media comments, so probably at the end of the video we'll go through those and I'll mark it in the timeline as I often do.
Definitely some good poignant questions.
Yeah, some great questions, so thanks guys, I thought that was really fun. So we'll meet you back in the studio in just a little bit.
Bye.
Hey skiers, here we are back in the studio. It was a pretty fun morning up there. Conditions are starting to improve. We have had some tough thaw freeze cycles this season, but
yeah,
this morning was kind of fun.
I mean, you could argue that that makes for better testing conditions because you have to deal with adversity out there.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, I'm actually kind of glad that things got really firm. Like when we did the Ranger launch video, I think you had said something like, we've been really lucky with conditions, like just perfect back powder groomers, some nice soft snow, some powder days, stuff like that. So I think getting really firm frozen groomers, we now have the full spectrum of snow conditions and we can really talk in depth about this thing.
Right, and we've also noticed that everything works well when it's soft.
Yeah.
You know, it's really when the chips are down that you gotta have something under your foot that gives you confidence.
Totally. So we know you guys have been waiting for this review for a while. We've had maybe more comments and questions asking when this is coming out than anything else over the past month and a half or so. So here it is. We're really excited to talk more about this Ranger 102. We probably spent 5 minutes on it in the launch video, kind of some initial thoughts, stuff like that. I really feel like now we're in a good place to just dive right in and then do a full review of this thing.
Yeah, no, I think we've done enough.
Yep. I was joking as I was kind of prepping the action footage for this review, and I said to Bob a couple times, like, I could make a Ranger 102 movie.
Yeah, I bet some people would enjoy a full-length feature film of Fischer Ranger 102.
You guys want a 2-hour-long video about Fischer Ranger 102s, pink ski, Celeste ski.
Yeah, we got it.
Can't promise that I'm going to do that, but it's feasible. So I want to talk about construction and shape before we dive right into performance.
Yep.
So Bob, you got the pink ski over there and you've got the new 102. So just as a refresher, take us through the construction of these new skis.
Yep, so we got a beech and poplar wood core tip to tail, and that really kind of sets the stage for what we've kind of called a more traditional construction versus this outgoing pink ski. That moves us into a full sidewall construction here. So, when they take something away, like the carbon nose or the arrow shape, they have to replicate that, and they do that through the use of a vertical sidewall. So giving it a little bit more of that traditional, on-trail feel to it. And then the metal, we talked about this with the Ranger skis as a whole, but this single-shaped TI, this Titanal metal plate here, differs between these different Ranger widths. So in this 102, It goes right from, my fingers and thumbs to my fingers and thumbs. On the narrower 96 and 90, that plate is extended, and on the wider 108 and 116, that plate is reduced. We also get these bump outs in the middle here, and we can kind of talk about this, when we touch on mounting briefly.
Yeah, we'll save that for 15 minutes from now.
So this flex zone here, so they really cut it in, allowing the ski to flex naturally, especially in the center of the ski. And that's something that we both picked up on in terms of performance.
Yep.
And having that metal, how they shape it, how that affects the flex of the ski.
Allows for really deep, round, trenchy turns.
Right.
Very rewarding.
Yeah, definitely. And again, we've talked about this before, not an accident.
Nope.
That's a specific engineering plan put in to achieve a desired effect. And that's pretty much it for construction. It's relatively simple. It's not like when we were up here with all the Rosignol skis last week.
We were like, what does this one have?
About, the kitchen sink type of thing, but definitely more of that traditional build. So no more carbon nose, no more arrow shape, much more traditional sidewall. But yeah, really just a simple construction, and they've taken the shape and really carried it forward. So we can talk about that and what it does and what it doesn't do.
Yeah, if you want to hand me that 183 Celeste ski there, and I'll let you keep the pink one. It's really been beneficial having these skis in the warehouse, in our hands, as well as still having a Ranger 102 FR.
Yeah.
I've been around this ski a ton, but I didn't really have as many chances as you might think to like put it right next to this ski and be like, where are the differences? And boy, there aren't many differences in shape.
No, we even noticed it taking the rocker shots that they have in this 184 and that 183, the exact same dimensions.
Exact same dimensions, and then look at the length of tip rocker. If you want to just hold that one sideways, it's about exactly the same.
Yeah.
And then if we flip them over, the amount of tail rocker and even the amount of rise in the tail is pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah, I think that profile is very similar. The shape, the taper,
That's
while
where
we
it
have
starts
these tails.
differing. Yeah.
Yeah, we start to see some difference there.
This one's more rounded.
Yeah.
More of that like javelin shape finish.
Right.
Where this, and it's true in the tip as well, comes to more of a blunted end.
Yeah, as opposed to this being more pointy.
Right, which feels modern.
Yeah.
I would describe this as like a modern freeride ski shape. But yeah, gosh, side cut dimensions, turn radius. These both have a 19-meter turn radius.
Yep.
There aren't many differences in shape.
No, and I think that for skiers that were nervous that this shape, what it was known for and what was fun about it, I think that a lot of skiers were kind of hesitant that this new one was going to change that, and it hasn't.
Well, and I think that's fair. Like when you see the product shot, it's just a straight-on shot like this.
Right.
Like looking at these skis next to each other from this perspective, they look different.
Yeah.
But when you start holding them in your hand and twisting them around and looking at them in a three-dimensional application, like they're way more similar than different.
Right.
And you had I thought a funny concept where if they made this pink, people would probably think it was the same thing or more of the same thing.
Yeah.
Because it's got this different tip shape and it's this new color, it just throws a different vibe at you.
Right.
Kind of tricks you a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, rest assured that the shape is more similar than different.
Yeah.
For sure. Now, I think we can dive right into performance now. I thought what would be cool, and I guess we normally do this, but maybe we'll structure a little bit more, is we've always talked about that ski and in particular how versatile it is. We did that review where it like kind of highlighted Marcus, Ryan, and Noah.
Yep.
So I kind of want to talk about a few different specific applications for this ski, and I think in doing that we'll tell the best story of how it differs from that ski.
Yeah.
So I think to start, soft snow, trees, bumps, that kind of stuff. What do you think of this new ski?
Yeah, let's start kind of with the difference in the flex and how
Sure.
that affects it.
Yeah, I think that's really important.
The lack of carbon nose does make the front of this ski bend a little bit easier into the turn.
Just the front.
Just the front.
Yep.
And then the tail is pretty stiff, which was a common theme of this as well.
Yep.
We do see a difference in swing weight though. So like this thing, and you used this in your article, the word smooth came to mind quite a bit. And that's where this thing really separates itself from the pink ski, especially in groomer performance. And we had it on, both packed powder and pretty rock hard stuff. And even in that firmer snow, this thing was pretty smooth.
Yeah.
The initiation was predictable. The flex was what you would expect it to be, whereas I can't say the same thing about the pink ski all the time. The carbon, the stiffness of that shovel did make it kind of want to hook in a little bit, because it was so torsionally stiff.
Sure. Yeah. And you pivoted there on me, and now I'm lost a little bit.
Sorry.
But getting back to trees and soft snow and stuff like that, you started to mention swing weight, and I think that's a really good point time to bring up the weight difference between these skis. We are seeing some variety. This one's coming in around 1,900 grams on our scale, which is like 100 grams lighter than what Fischer lists for it. This ski is about 150 grams heavier, and that's consistent in what we've seen from other people who have weighed it, what we've seen from Fischer, stuff like that. So when you take them into trees, into moguls, really like anywhere where you're making quicker, more pivoting turns, this has a lighter swing weight.
Yeah.
But I think this makes up for that with the slight difference in that flex pattern in the shovel of the ski.
Yeah.
And to me, for whatever reason, like it doesn't make sense because this is heavier, but this feels quicker to me. When I try and make short pivoting turns through technical terrain and soft snow, this feels quicker.
Yeah, a little bit lower camber underfoot too.
Yep.
Which I think helps with that smeary feel to it.
Yeah, this is more reactive.
Yep.
This has more of that damp, smooth, smeary feel, which I think is really cool. And if I had to pick out one downside of this ski in that sort of application, was deflection. And right now is a pretty good example of that. Like we skied through some trees yesterday and today. I don't necessarily think that we filmed this ski, but I was on this ski, I think, filming you or something like that. In the conditions that we have right now, you'll run into like frozen chunks of snow right under 2 or 3 inches, and that 2 to 3 inches is not enough to keep you from hitting that frozen chunk of snow. This ski could get deflected.
Yeah.
That's when you have a tip that's this light and this stiff, especially like torsionally stiff, that will get deflected when you hit something firm. And if I had to, and I did, I've probably talked about that before, if I had to pick out a downside to that ski, that was it. I think with just the slight change in construction here and a slightly heftier ski, it doesn't get deflected.
Yeah.
So you benefit from just like extremely easy edge release, a very smooth, just agile ski. It's still quick. It might not, some people might not find it as quick as that ski, but it's still very quick, and then it's just smoother. So to me, I felt like I had a better connection to the snow that gave me more confidence.
Yeah.
And I also think it floats better. I think the change to this tip, I think, provides a little bit more float.
Yeah, I always felt that this was good because it was light.
Right.
But it was a give and take with the stiffness.
Right.
Whereas this one is more balanced.
I think so too. Yeah. And I've skied it through some tight terrain. I've seen you make some short pivoting turns on it. We've seen Christy ski it in a very beautifully energetic way. Yeah. Like it's still a very agile, playful, fun, super fun ski.
And better in the bumps too. We didn't really get a whole lot of data on that, but much easier to drive this tip into the front of a mogul and easier to release the
Right.
tail than on the pink ski.
Right. So what you lose in weight, or what you gain in weight,
Yeah.
rather, it kind of makes up for that by being more supple, more forgiving.
Yeah.
And you kind of add up all those things, and it's still just as quick.
Yeah.
It's not as punishing. Not that this was a particularly punishing ski, but again, if I had to like point to one thing, that's what I would point to.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And then going back to groomers, these skis are 102 underfoot. Not everyone's going to ski groomers on these, but realistically, like, a lot of people are going to find themselves on groomers on this ski.
Right.
And I found a similar difference. It's a similar conversation to off-piste terrain from that ski to this ski, where this is smoother. If you had to point to like really, really firm snow conditions, because this tip has more torsional stiffness, that ski might do a little bit better on like bulletproof,
Yeah.
firm conditions. Everything else, this is a better ski.
Yeah, I like being able to feel the whole side cut.
Exactly, yeah.
This one was just a little bit more difficult to get there.
Yeah.
And this one was just a tad more accessible, and we kind of use these terms of accessible to mean a more balanced flex.
Right.
It's not a bad thing.
No, by any means. And like, there's just as much edge grip in this ski. I think probably more.
Right.
Once you kind of get into that turn, even on really, really firm snow, it's on firm snow, it's strictly just the entry. But once you're in that turn,
Yeah.
this feels like a more robust ski. You kind of mentioned it more so than me, that the way that they finish a turn, this sometimes feels snappier.
Yep.
And more like energetic, how it kicks you out of a turn. But it wasn't always 100% predictable. So this, again, just kind of going back to that word smooth, this is smoother. Which the way that it rolls from edge to edge is just incredibly intuitive and very, very smooth.
I agree. Fun to stand on this ski. Just to stand, ride it out.
Yeah.
Play with flexing into it more. It's just more adaptable to your input, I think.
Right. Now, I think that covers most situations.
Yep.
Where people are going to take this ski: soft snow, trees, bumps, groomers. In the written article, I called it fringe applications.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that.
And I think that's something that's what has made this ski kind of special.
Yeah.
Is there were other applications for it as well. One of those was park, and that's kind of why I wanted to start this video the way that we started this video. Is especially me personally, I know a lot of people that skied this as a park ski. When I first looked at this ski, again, like, when you look at them from this perspective, to me it looks much more directional. When I was able to compare them side to side and just see that the rocker profile is like basically the same, it started making me feel a whole lot better about the potential park application for this ski. And I think like it's important to preface this by saying this is not designed to be a park ski.
Right.
That was not the intention of this ski. It's more that just like people figured out that you can do it and started doing it, and it worked pretty well. If you want to hand me that one, this is still more of a directional ski than anything else. Like, that's how much tip rocker there is. And you flip it over, there's what, half the length of
Yeah.
tail rocker?
Yep.
Maybe less than half. So there was a limit to how far forward you could mount this ski. Did people go past what I would consider the limit? Yeah, definitely. Like, people were going pretty, maybe not center, but people were going pretty far forward on this ski. But I don't necessarily think that was the best decision, because you're going too far forward in the camber. On this ski, I do feel like this flex cut is, it's not completely limiting how far forward you want to go, but I don't really like to tell an engineer they're wrong. And if the engineer thinks it should flex underfoot right there, to me, I personally wouldn't go further forward than 1 centimeter. So you stay within that range.
Right. Yeah, you're not going into the metal in the front of the ski.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe somebody will prove me wrong and go further forward up to there. But with the difference in tip and tail rocker, which again is the same as that ski, and then add in this flex cut, I think it's best to stay pretty darn close to where they say you should mount it.
Yeah.
I did, for those park runs, I did push it 1 centimeter forward, which probably helped a little bit, but didn't feel drastically different than it did just on the normal line.
And how did you feel about like the rotational weight in the air? You know, I'd say that kind of equates to swing weight. You know, when you're in the park spinning, you know, how much of a difference would you feel with this, with a more consistent swing weight versus this?
Negligible.
Yeah.
To me, 150 grams, that means 75 in front of you and 75 behind you.
Yeah.
That's not a huge amount. I will say that, like, I won't say that concretely, because we had an Attack 14 demo binding on these,
Right.
and the Attack 14 plate is full metal
Right.
and like pretty heavy. So I will admit that, like, when I did that Rodeo 5 this morning, I was concerned. When I got in the air, I was like, I'm not coming around.
I knew you had it.
But it was fine. It's just I was feeling more the weight of the bindings.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think the weight, you know, again, if you're a dedicated park ski, if that's all you do, don't choose either of these skis.
Right.
But if you want to dabble around with it, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, it's fringe.
Yeah. The other fringe application, in my opinion, is touring, alpine touring.
Yep.
So, you know, we talked about it, 150 grams heavier. I'm perfectly fine standing here saying this is 150 grams worse at touring.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair.
Right. Now, in the written article, and I'll say it here too, is the uphill is only half of touring. And I do think, I've said it before and I'll continue to say it, this is a better directional freeride ski than that. I feel pretty darn strongly about that.
Yeah.
That ski's awesome. There are really cool things about this ski, but I think this is better. So on the other half of touring, it's better.
Right. Which is,
That's the fun part
for
to me.
most people that are touring on a real ski, not a touring specific ski,
Right.
that's what they're going for.
Right.
You know, it's not like anyone's looking at this or any other ski hovering around 2,000 grams saying, that's what I want to go uphill on.
Right.
They're saying, that's what I want to go downhill on.
And I'm willing to go up a lot.
If I have to lug an extra 300 grams up, so be it.
Right.
So that's kind of the touring skier's mentality that would be
Yeah.
in this market.
And I, you know, kind of similar to how we just described park application, 150 grams when you're starting like 1900 already or 2000, Fischer lists it as 2000. That's a pretty marginal difference.
Right.
You're not going to feel a drastic difference in uphill efficiency. Uphill efficiency from that ski to this ski.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So I think that covers most everything. The last thing we'll do is we'll run through some of the questions that we asked you guys to share on social media. I'm just going to make sure this camera doesn't shut off, and then we'll be right back. So I thought this was really fun. I don't know. If you guys like it, let us know in the comments. Maybe this is something we'll do in the future. I don't know how long it's going to take us to run through this. Maybe it's not the most efficient thing, but let's give it a go.
It was good engagement.
Yeah, totally. So here we go, Bob. I ski the 94 FR and love them. Are these similar in terms of playfulness and the ability to charge on edge? Also, are they turned up in the back like the FR line, and is there metal besides underfoot for mounting, or all wood and carbon like the FR line? Lot to unpack there.
Yeah. So I think we kind of touched on that in terms of it being different. There's no carbon. The metal is
There's
different.
More of it. A lot
Yep.
more than the FR skis. The FR
lot
skis
more than
just
the
had a little
FR.
strip for mounting.
Right. So I think that comes into play with the flex and the overall composure, especially in the front of the ski.
Yep. And, you know, yes, they are turned up just as much
Yep.
as the 94 FR or the 102 FR. Basically the same rocker camber shape, which is nice to see. Are they similar in terms of playfulness and the ability to charge on edge? Yeah. I think so. You know, the playfulness comes through with a different feel, but I think it's still a very playful ski.
Yeah, and I think that the more we've gotten on the 102, the more similarities we found.
Right. I bought 2022s at full price. Talk me off the ledge.
You're good.
you're good. Yeah, no, you don't.
Ski 'em, have fun.
Yeah,
Yep, no
just
problems.
because a company comes out with a ski and we think it's good doesn't mean that the previous ski
Right.
that they made was bad. And if anything, like that pink Ranger 102 FR is like an iconic ski.
Right.
Like you can ski it for years and years to come, and then put it in your collector's pile
Shed.
of skis because like it's really cool, and I think people will fondly remember the
Yeah.
pink ski. Comparison to a Pagoda 100 RP. There's some similarities there. I mean, I think the big difference is those RP skis all have a 15-meter turn radius.
Yeah, radius and
Weight.
full carbon.
Yeah.
You know, just having the 2 full carbon sheets in the DPS certainly makes it a more reactive ski from tip to tail.
Yep.
And then but the shape kind of is similar. The profile, I mean, I would say that's especially in the tail.
Yep. Fischer Ranger or Atomic Maverick. They're both great.
Yeah, it
They are
depends.
they are different. You
Yep.
know, Mavericks feel lighter, a little snappier.
Yep.
We were just on the Maverick 88 Ti the other day, and certainly it's just some differences in how the construction feels.
Yeah.
But-
Maverick 100, I would say, has a higher speed threshold than this.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. They go
I
faster on
I
that.
wonder if that's a weight thing,
Could be.
because I wouldn't necessarily say that. I would say they're pretty equal.
Yeah.
This ski feels damper to me, smoother.
Yeah.
More vibration damping. I have the pink gen, the last year's version. How do they compare? Are they better? I know you addressed this question briefly in the last video in the Ranger lineup. I think we talked quite a lot about that. I think they're better.
Yeah.
You know, I admit that. I think I said this in the written article. Like, are there going to be skiers that prefer that pink ski? Yeah, sure. I think that's fair to say. I do think there are going to be people where like the snappier, stiffer, more energetic construction might speak to how they ski more than the damp, smooth construction. But I think most people are going to prefer this. Let's see. I'm sure you'll cover this, but we really want to know, for current 102 owners, is this new generation still the Swiss Army knife of skis? Yeah.
Yeah, and especially since overall Fischer has condensed Ranger, TI, and FR into Ranger, so
Right.
that they're making the ski more more useful overall.
Right. Same in the same comment. Have they softened it up too much? I don't think so at all.
Nope.
I think they've softened it up appropriately while still retaining its strength. And Lindsay Dyer chimed in here with a response. Thanks, Lindsay. That said the new one is not too soft.
Yeah.
And she would know because she skis hard and she skied them quite a bit. Why would I want these over my Storm Rider 105s? I guess if you wanted a teal ski,
Yeah.
that'd be a good reason. No, that's kind of a joke, but I'd say this ski feels a little looser. So if you wanted something that's a little looser, particularly in the tail.
Yeah.
Storm Rider 105 has that squared off tail, so that's got a little more bite to it. But this ski is looser and more playful. Is this year's more or less playful than last year's? I would say playfulness, again, it's like kind of equal.
Right. They've kind of added and removed
Exactly.
2 different things.
Right. Like multiple different things can make a ski playful.
Right.
In this ski, it's the softer flexing tips and tails. In that ski, it's more like the responsiveness and the lightweight feel.
Right. Maybe the lower camber of the new one.
Right. That adds into
if smeariness is your idea of playful skiing, then
totally.
Yes.
And that reminds me, when I was out in Winter Park skiing with Win, he was doing like nose butters and stuff on it, and this ski feels a little more intuitive and more accessible if you want to do like buttery things like that than that previous ski. How do you feel about the mount point? Would you move it forward? If you skipped over this part, I personally wouldn't move it forward outside of this shaped TI spot.
Yeah.
So I would say go ahead and move it 1 centimeter forward if you want, but I think it skis great in that center
It's
spot.
pretty rare that like a construction application is a factor in
Totally.
a mount point. So
Yeah.
I would say that's a rarity
Very
for a ski
unique.
like this.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Given the switch carving, I'm guessing this is a slightly more playful build. again, it's like just different.
Right.
That the pink ski carve switch, great too. How is the edge grip on icy conditions? How does it compare to the Enforcer 100? I would say edge grip is pretty darn good on icy conditions for being a ski that's 102 underfoot with tip and tail rocker. How does it compare to Enforcer 100? Enforcer 100 has more edge grip. That's fair to say.
Yeah, and just more confidence.
There's a full length, 2 full length sheets of metal in the
Right.
Enforcer 100.
Yeah, 200 more grams of weight.
It's a different animal.
Yeah.
I think the Enforcer 104 is a better comparison, and I think you'd find more equal amounts of edge grip between
Right.
those two skis. Interested as 50-50, particularly as compared to the current FR. Kind of covered that too. You lose a little bit of uphill efficiency, but in my opinion, you gain some downhill performance. What are the differences from them to the 2022 102 FR? I think we covered that. Let's see. Will they make me ski like that? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
They'll help. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know that you necessarily want to ski like me. Ski like yourself.
Right.
Everyone's different.
You do you.
Yeah. You make yourself the skier that you want to be. Don't ski like me. That's boring. Is the ski still considered to be more freeride oriented? Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
To me, the ski is still just squarely in the freeride category. This is a good one. How do you compare it to the Rossignol Sender? I'd say pretty similar skis overall. This one's definitely got more rise in the tail. It's almost like if you took a Sender and a Holy Shred and mashed them together and created one ski out of those two things. I think you'd basically come up with that. Versus Ripstick 106 Black, Rustler 10, Headcore 105. That feels like a comparison video in itself.
Right.
I would say out of those skis, probably closest to the Rustler 10, but there's some differences there too.
Yeah, I think when we look at just the metal construction in the middle,
Right.
that gives it Rustler vibes for
Right.
sure.
Similar feel, like vibration damping. I think this ski is a little more robust than the Rustler 10. Rustler 10 gets pretty soft in the tips and tails. So that would be my take. I'd love to know, does this ski compare to the Nordica Enforcer 104 Free? Looking for a ski with a similar playful feeling and stability, but with less metal.
There you go.
That's it.
Yep.
That's a perfect way to describe this ski. Is it considerably better than the pink one? Is it worth the upgrade? Considerably? I mean, it's the type of thing where, like, if your 102 FR is worn out, it's the best replacement for your existing Ranger 102 FR. I've said it like a few different times. I think it's better. If you have a brand new Ranger 102 FR, would I sell it and get this?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Maybe not.
I wouldn't return it.
No, I would just keep skiing your 102 FR, and then when you've blown that up, take this thing. When's Bob gonna learn how to carve switch?
Well, I think those days might be behind me.
Same.
We'll have to do like a lower north slope where I feel comfortable, and I'll try to throw some switch turns in there.
Yeah, that's up to Bob, not me. Celeste Ski Squad commented, "Are they the best skis on the mountain or just the prettiest?" Certainly, like right up there in the prettiest.
Yeah, I mean, for something without like a graphic on it, it's a fantastic looking ski.
Right.
You know, it's not like there's artwork involved here, like Atomic Bent Chetler and stuff like that. But
correct.
For pure coloring, sure, it's wonderful.
And are they the best ski on the mountain? That's just a word that you'll never hear us use to describe skis, and kind of like, it just kind of goes back to our overall concept of how to describe skis. I don't like the word best.
Yeah, but this could be the best for a lot of people out there, and so could this.
Yeah, of course. Like, you know, every skier is different. That's kind of what the concept to our ski test, our content, everything. What's best for me will not be best for you. You know, I think maybe you and I are like just a great example of that. Like, we choose different things, and the ski that I think is the best ski in the world is not the ski that you think is the best ski in the world.
Yeah.
Are there a lot of people, like you said, are there a lot of people out there where this would be the best ski for them? Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's also fair to say. And that was it for comments.
Great. That
So,
was fun.
Yeah, I thought that was great. I'm sure there are more questions, so if you have more questions, just leave them as a comment on this video, and we'll get to them as soon as we can. If you left a comment and you're waiting for a reply from us, you'll get a reply within a week.
Okay.
That's my commitment.
We'll get to work
Sometimes
then.
we'll get outside of that range, but not very far. Typically, we'll do a lot on like Fridays.
Yeah.
So if you leave a comment earlier in the week and you don't get a reply until Friday, our apology is we're just very busy and there's a lot of comments.
Yeah.
So
It's all part of the fun.
that's it. That is the Ranger 102 from Fischer. A lot to talk about. This was probably really long, but thanks for joining us, and we'll see you out there on the slopes.
Bye.